Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel or welcome to my channel. Today I am here to do something different than I used to. I am not going to make book reviews or anything about it. I had the pleasure of interviewing Madeline Martin. She's one of my favorite authors. I love her historical fiction. So if you know her and you would like to know her better, or if she's a new author for you, please take a look at the interview that follows. And you are my first author, as I said, because I will keep getting no's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be your first author.
Thank you. I'm new and people don't know me. I guess it comes with the territory of starting on
Well,
this.
anything, you just have to build a base, which is exactly what you're doing. So,
I'm trying, but it is hard. Many people think that you just publish a video on YouTube and suddenly you have like thousands of people and everyone is interested on your opinions or on what you have to say. And the reality, it's not that at all. I didn't go exactly with that.
yeah.
It
No,
was not.
I totally get it. A lot of people think you can write a book and sell, tons of them and
Yeah.
it's definitely always kind of starting at the ground and building up from there, and it's a lot of luck but also a lot of hard work for sure. So, congratulations on getting started with it.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you. I
welcome.
have two channels. I didn't start small, which is a totally a problem of my personality, I must say. So I started with two channels pretty much at the same time. They're like a month apart, and one is this binding over books. That goes well. It is a homage to my two passions, which are books in every shape or form. That means I do restore books. That's that corner
Oh, how
over there.
cool. Yeah.
That's the binding part. And books, because I'm a bookworm. I guess I was already born a bookworm and I keep going. I had here in the place in the country where I live, the maternity leaves are super long.
Oh,
I think
nice.
tell you how long they are because you are from America, you will kill me. But the minimum it is 3 years at
Oh, wow,
home.
that's amazing. And where are you out of?
I'm in Czech Republic.
Okay.
I am not Czech, but I am in Czech Republic. I got married to a Czech guy, and I stay here. So, and I have three children. So, I,
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
I spend a lot of time in maternity leave, and I was reading a lot. Then I went to corporate Czech Republic. As you have corporate America, we have corporate Czech Republic.
Yeah.
I stopped reading because small children, after school activities, life, ugh. And
Right.
I started when the children allow, or restarted again when the children allow me, which has been the last couple of years again. So that's
Yeah.
my story.
Oh, very nice. Well, I'm glad that you have the opportunity to do it. Mhm.
Yeah. This interview. I have questions in the sexy old analogic book as a good millennial, not a computer, and they are. Um, it is actually picking up your brain as an author. Of course, we can talk about your books. I'm totally happy to do so, but it is how a person becomes an author. What leads someone to become an author? Because I'm thinking I would love to write a book, but I will never do it because I don't have the brain cells for that. Or
Oh,
the
don't you're not giving yourself enough credit. I bet you absolutely could.
well, I don't know. I don't think so, but thank you. So I have a section of must asks, and then we will see how the conversation goes. Historical romance, it's how I met you. I met you through Audible because
Oh,
when you finish a book, they give you like recommendations if you like this book, sort of
right.
Netflix style. So, and I got, and the first book that I really read to, I don't know how is your opinion about audiobooks. It's one of the things that I really want to know. Was the last bookshop in London.
Oh, thank
It was
you.
my first book, and
Although
It's
technically that one's more historical fiction than romance.
okay, but even on your website, it's under that, so I categorize it as such. But it thing second, your books are the last ones are around 40s, 50s. You know, a lot of Second World War. Why this period of time?
So I lived in Germany when I was growing up, and my dad was in the army.
Hmm.
And we did 3 different tours over there. We were in Darmstadt, Würzburg, and Bad Kreuznach. And so we were over there for so long. It just really was such a huge part of my life living there. And we were always educated so much on World War II and everything that happened. And, really to make sure that people were aware so that it didn't happen again. And I think that really just left an indelible mark on me. And it's something that, I've always been fascinated by how brave people were in such dangerous times, how selfless people were in helping to save other people, sometimes people that they didn't even know. And it's something that has always just, it's been interesting to me that I wanted to write about and really showcase a lot of the brave stories.
And why do you think it happened like that? Why do you think, in your opinion, people were like that? I agree with you, and I have my European notion of why. I can tell you later, but first I want to know yours.
So I really think that in times of strife, there are two kinds of people that kind of crawl out of the woodwork. We've got, unfortunately, the people who are really bad and they try to take advantage of people. But then you also have selfless people who genuinely want to help, whether that is, risking your life to save somebody else, whether that is doing something to help bring joy to people who are sad, whether it's, people who sewed masks during the pandemic.
Mhm.
There are always these kind of, communities come together in times of hardship, and that has a lot to do with it. And there's also always going to be those people who will stand up for what's right when they see what's happening that is so wrong. And that's just one of those wonderful things that is sort of, and the beauty of humanity, having that.
I think that, of course, you are correct. That's being human. Always someone it's good, someone it's bad. But the Second World War, it was so close to the first one that it was the parents and the children being marked by a world event that absolutely changed their lives and made the children knew the stories of what happened on the first one. I think that it is marked the generation and made them have the mindset, we can do this, we
Right.
can get over it, and that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. That
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
that's I think that's what marked that generation that had to live through the Second World War. It was the parents, the uncles, and so on that lived and fought in the first one World War, and they knew what was going to happen. I think that really helped. If something can help that generation to survive the war, but the stories coming out of that are amazing. um,
Absolutely.
in Prague, because I know that you really like it, there is a statue in the main station of that it is homage to the trains that left with children to England. That were running out of the war, or Jewish children that were put in those trains to flee from the war. It is, and it's there, and the platform is still used. So you go to Prague, and suddenly you will see that image. So it is
Yeah.
here in Czech Republic. It's the Second World War. It's still really, really present. It's something
Yeah.
you have something in every village here. There is a memorial place with names, addresses of who died in the First or in the Second World War. And
Yeah.
that's why I must say that your books are, for me, super close and sometimes hard to read.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely get that. And I mean, I think that World War One and especially World War II, with the devastation of the concentration camps and the immense persecution, it was such a monumentous event for all of Europe. I mean, that growing up, I grew up around monuments, and every city that I've gone to do research for this trip, I see monuments to all of the men and women who died, and all the brave people who did what they did to help other people, and there are museums dedicated to all of them as well. And yeah, I mean, it absolutely left an imprint, especially in Europe, where it was so incredibly close and it was really happening. It left roots. And yeah, so it really is something that is difficult, because these are obviously not easy stories to hear. In fact, doing research for some of the books can be very difficult. I try really hard to make sure that what I'm writing is a positive message, that it's highlighting the bravery, and it's not just, trauma dumping with all of the atrocities.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I don't have to go through and sift through all of those horrific things to figure out what I'm going to write into the book. So, especially when I was writing, for example, The Keeper of Hidden Books, and that one was set in Warsaw, Poland. And Poland was very, very dark.
That
I mean,
one hit me hard.
I'm
Because
sorry.
that book really hit me hard. I could not read it, like, I had to digest it.
Yeah,
Because
it was hard to do the research
as
for.
well, it is too close as well. I'm on the border, so
Right.
it's too close. It is too tangible for me.
Yeah, I
Something
understand
that, yeah,
completely.
that one was hard. But that gives me to leads me to the point of, how do you research? Where do you start for to do this? It's not like maybe you wake up and say, "Oh, let's do this because I like the period of the Second World War," but you have to start somewhere. You have to do some research. How does it work? Tell me.
Yeah, usually I will kind of I read historical articles all the time, like articles on history, and it's kind of, I'll find something that will just sort of spark an idea. Like, it might be with the librarian spy, reading about American librarians who were sent into neutral countries to gather literary intel during World War II. It could be like with the last bookshop in London, when I wrote about the Paternoster bombing and how it completely destroyed the book industry. And that made me think about, what if one little bookstore survived that bombing, and what about the community built around it. And then even with The Keeper of Hidden Books, I found these amazing journals by Warsaw's public librarians, citing their efforts to not only save books, but also operate secret libraries during Nazi destruction. So it's like these little ideas that are sparked from articles that I read, and then I just start to dig. And I have to wait until I get the official approval from my publisher to go ahead. Yes, we do want this book. Yes, this is a viable story to tell. And then I can go and start buying all the books. But usually I have a few dozen books, nonfiction books that I read. Usually it's honestly over about 100 books. And then I just take handwritten notes. I usually have about 15 spiral bound notebooks that are completely filled with handwritten notes that I'm able to incorporate into those stories. And I usually, I've been very fortunate to have gotten to travel on site to every single book that I've written, with the exception of The Last Bookshop in London, because I wrote that in 2020 and the entire world was shut down,
Yeah, COVID.
which still is
Great.
kind of crazy to even wrap my brain around. And so it was one of those, right? I didn't get to go and travel there, but because I had lived in Germany for so many years, I did have many opportunities to get to go to London. And so I really did kind of already have that
You
sort
wrote
of.
it from memory.
I'm sorry.
You write it from memory.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
wrote it from memory. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. And you said that you have to wait for your publisher to say, okay, we want this. So, as I said, this interview, it's really about to know the process, or to understand the process. So you have the idea, and you approach that idea to your publisher, and they say yes, no, maybe.
So because I already have a publisher, it's a little bit easier. So in my contract, it's built in that I have what's called an option. And that means that they want the opportunity to look at my book, my next book idea, before anybody else has a look at it. And if they decide that they want it, then they have the opportunity to bid on it, to ask for it first and make their offer. But what I have to submit to them in order for them to consider that is what's called a proposal. And basically that is about, like, maybe 5 pages of what the plot is going to be, plus the first chapter. Some places require up to 3 chapters. Mine only requires 1 chapter. And then from there, they decide if they want that book or not. And if I write, for example, if I have a 2-book deal, which my last book my last book that I'm working on right now for my 2026 release was a 2-book deal. So I basically have to put together an idea for the book that I want to write next. And they just have to read it and say, yes, this sounds like a viable idea. Go ahead and write it. That can be your second book of the contract.
Oh, so it is like when you make a proposal for a PhD.
Yes.
I can compare with something that I know how it works.
Exactly. And
When
see,
you
if you
get,
can get a PhD, you can totally write a book. I'm just saying.
I don't have that PhD yet.
Oh.
Just the candidate. I was thinking. I was thinking about, like, I was making comparisons. Oh, how is it like? You also have
Yeah.
that form that you have to write and to tell everything what you want to do and why is it important. So, oh, I see. So,
Yeah.
but you started as a self-published author.
Technically, I actually started doing small press. I was writing romance, and I was published with a very small press. And then I started publishing with Harlequin Historical. But then I realized that I could make more money if I was publishing historical romance myself. And so then I started to self-publish. But in order to, at the time that I was self-publishing, you really had to release a book every month or two. So I was writing like 6 to 8 books a year. And at that time, I was actually still working my full-time job as a business analyst as well.
That's like books by the meter.
It's a
How,
lot.
how do you make? How do you keep quality standards, research standards, imagination? Like, it is, it, again, writing books by the meter. How do you navigate that situation?
It was really difficult. I basically just really didn't sleep very much. I got maybe like 4 hours of sleep a night.
Hmm.
And I never took a sick day. If I was ever sick, I just had a bucket next to me on the desk. And I mean, I got through it. I was in my 30s, so I think I had more energy. But I don't think I could do it now. But I've been writing full time now for 5 years. And that was when I was writing historical romance. Historical romance doesn't need quite the level of historical authenticity and detail that historical fiction does. And it's not that it doesn't need authenticity or detail. I'm not saying that at all. It's still very, very important. But with historical fiction, the very minute details about daily life are so incredibly important. And that really is like the highlight of a historical fiction, whereas the romance really is more the highlight of the historical romance.
I see.
And so historical fiction does take significantly more research. And so now I do 1 book a year and I don't work another job.
Even one book a year, it is a lot.
It is.
I You already have 20 26th, 25th. It is August. It's your release book for now. I already have it in pre-order.
Oh,
Looking
thank
forward
you.
for it to them. And I saw that you already have another one
Yes.
for 26.
Yes, I actually, yeah, I'm just doing some small little personal edits on that one before I submit it. It's due on August 1st. And then I'm going to be working on my proposal idea for my next one for my second book in the 2-book series, or not series, but the 2-book contract.
I'm really looking forward for this one, I must say.
Thank you.
And I'm really, really, really curious about it.
Thank
Um,
you.
but as I said, the reason why I read a lot, it is two. First of all, I live in Czech Republic, and I don't read Czech. It is,
I
I
don't
don't.
either if it makes you feel any better.
No, it is not. I don't speak Czech. I speak Czech. I read Czech. I speak Czech. That's not the problem. The problem is I don't like the language that
No.
much. It's okay.
Yeah,
And well, it is what it is. I speak and I read and I function in Czech because I have to. It's not like I
right.
choose to. In English, it is second language for me, or my parents would say that it is already my first one. And it is hard, or now it is getting slowly better, uh,
Hmm.
to get books in Czech, like physical books in English. Sorry. So Audible, it is a fantastic outlet because you can have it like that.
Right.
if you have an Amazon account, I can put it on my Kindle, or I can have it on my phone, and I can work and prepare lessons and do all of that while I am reading a book. That's the reason
Yeah.
why. But how you, author, what do you think about it, of audiobooks?
Oh, I love them. I mean, when I was basically working two jobs, my girls are 19 and 16 now. But I mean, like I said, I started this 20 years ago.
Hmm.
So if I didn't have audiobooks, I would never even have the opportunity to read. And so for me, it gives me the opportunity to read a lot more than I would otherwise. In fact, I usually have an audiobook going and a physical book at the very
Yes.
least. Usually I have way more books than that, but at the very least, I always
Yeah.
have one audiobook going and one physical book going. And my audiobooks always outnumber my physical books at the end of the month because I just really don't have the time to be able to sit down and read constantly.
It is
Um,
multifunctioning. You
I
can
wish. I
eat,
mean, that's like,
swim, and do whatever while you are still immersed on the universe of that.
yeah,
But
I travel a lot. I probably travel like 30% of the year for the different events that I do, and speaking engagements and book signings. And so that gives me the opportunity when I'm driving for like 7 hours to South Carolina, for example, it gives me the opportunity to be able to just listen to a book, and I can just kind of plug in and listen to it. So with
mhm,
my book tour coming up, when the Secret Book Society comes out on August 26th, I am going to be doing so much driving for the next couple of months, and I'm planning on queuing up my audiobook list with all of it, not only with Audible, but I also really do love to get a shout out to Libro FM. I don't know if you guys have access to it where you are, but in the US, there's something called Libro FM,
I'm
and
right
that
here.
is something that you can purchase your audiobooks, and it actually goes to help. Local independent bookstores. So you can actually choose a bookstore that you want to receive the money, or you would just let it kind of go to a spread of different independent bookstores. But it works just like Audible does. It has the slow down, the speed up function, the pause, anything that you use on Audible. You can use that on Libro FM as well. And so I always like to kind of take a moment and highlight that to give a shout out for
Sure.
our local independent bookstores.
I had no clue that such thing existed.
Yeah. That's why a lot of people don't. And that's why whenever I talk about audiobooks, I always do a shameless plug for Libro FM because I'm
Sure.
just a huge fan.
Sure, I will research, and if possible, I will talk about it on the channel. So you were talking a lot about your um, press tour, or I
Yeah,
forgot
the
the name.
book tour.
Promoting, yeah, promoting the book. How does it work? You do it alone? It is something that your publisher and the marketing team does it. How did you do it when you were not assigned with a bigger publisher? How do you put yourself out there as um, a baby author? Let's call it like that.
Yeah. Well, when I was writing historical romance doesn't typically do book tours. It just really, some genres it works well for, some genres it doesn't. And with historical romance, it really kind of doesn't lend itself well to that. With historical fiction, it very much does. So with the last bookshop in London, when that came out, again, that was kind of during the pandemic, and they really weren't. And with HarperCollins, they really weren't doing a lot of. In fact, they really didn't want to do any personal or in-person events because
Mhm.
they didn't want to risk any spread of COVID or be responsible for any of that, which I mean obviously that makes sense, right? And so later on I would plan my own where I would reach out to the stores and kind of make communication that way. I do have a publicist now who does do a lot of that for me, and usually they plan about 2 weeks. And so outside of that 2 weeks, anything else that happens is planned through me.
I
And, over the course of the last four books that I've written, I've had the opportunity to meet so many lovely independent bookstores and their wonderful owners. And so I've had a lot of them reach out to me and say, "Oh, will you please come
Yeah.
by and do an event for your book? I hear your book is coming out. We would love to have you." And so I kind of have like a whole sort of tour built around all of those wonderful people
Mhm.
that I've met, that doesn't have to do anything at all with my publisher having
But
coordinated
people
it.
get
A lot of
used to
it's just
it.
been
Your
me.
fans get used to it, and they know that you are going to be there every time you will get a book, or that you release a book, sorry. So
Right.
it is also to communicate to your people. Is Europe somewhere?
Actually, so I am in 2026. I'm going to be going to Paris and Lisbon
I know.
because I'm doing an author. It's like a reader trip. So my agent sister Natasha Lester is also a New York Times bestselling author, and she and I are actually teaming up with John Shore's Travel, and we're doing 9 days. It's going to be some of it's going to be in Paris, where Natasha is going to talk about all of her research with her books, and then part of it is going to be in Lisbon with me talking about my research with my books. And I have a huge
Wait, your book is
Portuguese.
really? I'm from Portugal. I'm a Lisbon girl.
Really? Oh, that's so awesome. Já falo um pouco de português.
Oh, sério? Oh, meu Deus.
Yeah, so I'm going to be in Lisbon in April next year, and I have a huge Portuguese following. And so I actually am planning on trying to see if I can coordinate doing maybe a couple of signings while I'm there as well.
Should I meet you there?
Sure.
We can talk about it off camera because I would have to fly in, of course, from Czech Republic there, but I am a Portuguese girl
Oh,
now.
that's so awesome.
That's my city. Oh,
Oh, and I love Lisbon.
why Portugal? Why Lisbon? Why do you speak Portuguese?
Oh, when I wrote The Librarian Spy, that was set in
Oh,
Lisbon.
I know, but nonetheless, I was not expecting that you would know Portuguese. Portuguese, it's hard.
Yeah, I try really hard to learn the language of every country that I travel to, and especially when I'm doing research. And so when I went to Lisbon for research, I wanted to make sure that I spoke the language. Now, it's been so long because that was back in 2021 when I did that trip.
It's
And
not
in
long.
between, I've learned several different languages. So it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle. I definitely am going to have to brush a lot of the rest off before I go. And even then,
I
I'm
will help
certainly
you.
not, I'm not like fluent by any means. It really is just kind of like,
I
how
can
are
help you.
you? Where's the bathroom? I would like a glass of wine, please. I only
Oh,
speak a
that's
little
fine.
bit of Portuguese.
Those are the essentials. My
Yes.
husband, I'm married with him for 16 years, and he only gets the essentials as well.
Yeah.
Because to survive in the summer holidays, that's all you need to know how
Exactly.
to eat and how
Well,
to
and
go
I
to
have
the
to say too, of all the places that I've visited all over the world, Lisbon seemed to be the most English speaking country for a place that has, that's non-English speaking origin. I was amazed at how many people spoke English there.
Yeah, better, worse. The different levels. No, it's not so fluent as maybe in the Nordic countries, but we were, even my generation, the 40s now. That means the second part of the millenniums. We had English from second grade.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is something that it is happening in Czech Republic now.
Oh,
They are
interesting.
starting only now to
Yeah,
get like such early age in school. It is something that it is going to happen from September
right.
this year. So yeah, we had to have English. We had to. Someone loved it, someone didn't. Hey, it's like math. Some people are
Yeah.
good at math,
No, I get that.
are good on languages, but yeah, we really had to. Even my parents generation, they already had some level of English. It
Hmm.
started after 75 with the revolution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's when the English and the that's super interesting as well, because of that I had a American like upbringing. i
Yeah.
I had Vivo, I had MTV, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and all of that, while my husband here in Czech Republic, he doesn't understand the references.
Oh, that's so
Don't
funny.
have it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so sometimes we have a little clash, and I'm like,
Right.
but this is my childhood, man.
The
How
pop
can
culture clash.
yeah, how can you not know? Then I remember. Okay,
Yeah.
9, got it. That's the reason why. Um, so we talk about community, and you said that you are going to have that with Natasha, the book tour. Can I call it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How important is it to have the support of other authors? Do you like each other, or like it is a really competitive? situation? Are you supportive, or it is like in everywhere? Some are good, some are bad.
Oh, honestly, I have loved almost every single one of the authors that I've met. In fact, like I love getting to go to conferences where I get to maybe see some of these women only like once, and I mean some men too, but pretty much historical fiction is predominantly female authors,
Yeah.
and it is usually like ear piercing squeals of excitement and like just effusive praise, getting to see one another. And I mean, it really is just such a beautiful community to belong to. There's so much building up of one another. Everybody shares each other's books because I have to be honest with you, I write one book a year. Some people write one book every 18 months to 24 months. You
Yeah.
know, it's and some a lot of people are like me with one book a year as well. If readers only ever wanted to read my books, that would be very intimidating for me. I can't
Yes.
just supply one person with all of their books. But what I can do is I can tell readers about all of the amazing books that I have read by some really, truly talented women. And I'm so honored that those are my friends as well. And so I love the community because we really do just share all of the books that we love with one another and with readers. And I'm grateful to be part of it.
Yeah. I started historical fiction because I must confess that I was a little bit the difference between historical fiction and historical romance. You know, I thought that everything was the same. Then later on,
How to differentiate?
well, I think so, but let me see. Historical romance, it is just a romance story that it is placed in a certain time in history, and the historical facts don't matter. While historical fiction, you have to be historically accurate.
Yes and no, because you
Of
do
course.
still need to be. I will tell you, if you write a Regency romance and you do not get everything correct, the readers will come after you.
Well,
So,
Austin,
so
we
you
had
do
to study
have.
that.
So really, what it comes down to is if you have a historical story and you
Mhm.
have romance throughout the story, and you take the romance out and the story collapses, now you know it was a historical romance. If you have a story that is set in historical setting and you have a romance and you take the romance out and the story still holds, it is a historical fiction.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So it's the importance of the historic, or it's the importance of the romance in the story that makes it a historical romance versus a historical fiction. And sometimes also it is publisher influences as well. So for example, if you think about it, Outlander was absolutely a historical romance, but they pitch it as historical fiction. So it also
The
depends on where the
books, the
publisher
book,
pushes it.
or the series.
I think all of it.
Well, I understand why the series had to change because you are seeing,
Mhm.
yeah. While the books, it could get a little bit of more leeway because everyone can draw their own conclusions. Everyone has a different imagination. Everyone sees it differently,
Right.
right? So when you are having the series, it is what it is, and that's the color of the kilt, and that's the color of the kilt and the castle, and the series kind of appropriate the books, sort of speak. They start it. You saw that with Harry Potter, um, with The Witcher, with
Mhm.
and Outlander was one of them as well. And that's also one of the questions that I have here. It is, what is your opinion about historical fiction being adapted to television?
Oh, I think it's great. The way that I see it is, anytime that people can get interested in history, whether the story is historically accurate or not, it still gets people interested in history. And people who are interested in history will spend money. They will spend money to go on location to see those places. They will spend money that will basically find its way into the trusts that are actually restoring and digging
Hmm.
deeper into the research for all of those historical places. And that makes history nerds like me who love historical authenticity very happy because more funding means that we get wonderful history delivered to us with more research that's constantly being done. So I 100% support it. And if something's not historically accurate, I know, who knows? It doesn't really actually matter at the end of the day, as long as nobody's like trying to pass it off as historical fact.
Mhm.
And it will always get people more interested in history, and that will always give more funding. So
I totally agree.
100% support it.
I started with Deborah Arkness. I don't know if you know her.
Her name
Uh,
is familiar. I've probably read her before, but yeah.
Discovery of Witches. It
Yes.
was her big thing. It was also a series. I read the books. I cannot watch the series. You know,
Yeah.
and even though the series was done with her, uh,
Hmm.
she had say on it. I just can't because I didn't see the main characters like this and so on. And I noticed that as older I get, more no, but how can I say? The older I get, less layout and less grace I have when the series and the movies go out of what it is on the books,
Right.
and how historical. Maybe it's only me. I don't know. Um, this was not like this. These garments are not like that because
Right. Exactly.
it is important, and that's the reason why I have problems with Bridgerton.
No, I get that. But
And
also,
well,
Bridgerton gets more people traveling to England and looking at all these old historic houses, and it means that they get more funding. Isn't that a beautiful thing?
yes, it is. I never thought about it like that. I never thought about it like that. That yeah, it brings a certain tourism, and it is true. It is
Yeah.
so that I was in London last year, and I had to go to the Blackfriars, to this place, to
Mhm.
that place, because I remember that I had to go to the place where you said on the bookstores, and I did my only thing there.
Yes.
And I went there. That's totally true. And while I was doing that, I was paying fees to get in, and all of that. Of course, I went to see all your all the things there. So we have to keep it 20 minutes. Okay. I hope we are doing fine. What is for you the hardest part of writing? It is the deadlines, the research, the romance.
Probably the deadlines. They can be difficult to navigate sometimes, especially because one book equals multiple deadlines. You know, you have the first deadline that you finish turning the book in, but then you have another deadline that you have to turn in your edits, and then two more, that you do copy edits. Then you have like your galley passes as well. And having all of those deadlines can be difficult because you don't necessarily always know when they're going to pop up in your inbox and when they're going to be due. And so, what I usually try to do is if I'm going to be out of town somewhere where it's difficult for me to be able to access, internet, for example,
Mhm.
and then it's hard because I try to let people know in advance. Like last year, my oldest daughter and I did a horseback riding safari in South Africa. Suffice it to say, internet was really not a thing. We really didn't have,
It
there
doesn't
was
have to
internet
be.
in the main cabin, and that was pretty
Yeah.
much it. And while I was there, I had gotten something that I was supposed to look over, and I was like, I told you guys I'm not going to be able to really check my internet here, and I hope that this is okay. But I can't look at this now. I have to wait until I get back.
Yeah.
So you never know when some of those edits and one of those things are going to drop, and that makes it kind of difficult, especially with having a family and wanting to plan trips and kind of going places where you can unplug and just make sure that you're there to be present with your family,
Mhm.
and hope that you don't get those edits kind of dropped into your lap at that exact time.
So, how much say does the publisher, or and that means the editor, the marketing company, or whatever? How much? Sorry, how big is the input that they have on your book, on your story, on your world? Because they are your worlds. That it is your mind that it is putting it together.
When it comes to the words, I am the one that has the ultimate say. When it comes to the cover and the back copy, and that kind of thing, they're the ones who have more, and even the title, they're the ones who have more sway than I do. So it depends, and it also depends. I mean, it depends on the publisher. It depends on where you are in your career. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what is between the pages, that is what the author has the most control over.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that, or maybe it is a preconcept, I don't know, prejudice around it, is that as soon as you sign with the publisher, you stop having control. It is their book, their words, their put this, change this. and
I mean,
stuff like
I haven't had anything where a publisher's come back and said, I don't want you to say this. I've had things where, the editor will say, oh, change this. And I'm like, I don't want to. I like it how it is. And I'm leaving that because it has purpose where it is. Or they'll say, delete this part out. And I'll say, no, because this has relevance, because then it comes out later on in the story that you need to know this information, that kind of thing. I don't know of any publisher that would just delete something and not let the author, because at the end of the day, it's our name that's on the cover.
that. Mhm.
People aren't going to remember, oh, it was Hanover, Square Press, or it was like Graydon House, or it was Muse, or whatever. They're not going to remember who the publisher is who published this book. They're going to remember my name. And
Yeah,
so we have ultimate control over the actual words that are in the book.
because you are the brand.
Yes.
You are the one that it is selling, right?
Yeah.
So
So now when you're saying the rights to those words, yes, we do sign away. If I tell my publisher, you have the rights to translate my words, they will felicitate all of the sales for foreign translation rights. I don't have a say in that. So if they decide that they wanted to sell to a country that I didn't want them to sell to, I gave up that right. And so that's kind of what it means by you lose your rights. Yeah.
it comes with the territory. It's still worth it, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, the thing is also, I guess it depends on what you push back on. I've never had anything controversial in one of my books that I have felt that they have asked me to remove. And if they ever did, I probably would just remove it. I can't imagine wanting to push back on something like that, but maybe in a rare situation like that, then it would be contentious and there might be some sort of issue with it. But I mean, I personally haven't been involved in anything like that. And I don't know of anybody who has. So I can't speak to every single situation, only my own experience.
That's good. What do you think? And because we are talking about controversy and stuff like that, what is your opinion as an author about the book talk, the book Instagrams, and this new thing that it is? It is chic, it is fashionable, it is great to read again. You are like, sometimes, because I'm a little bit part of that world, I have a feeling that people are reading by the meter.
Mm-hmm.
Even the good reads, it helps you with that,
Right.
because you have those challenges. If you want to do those challenges, if
Oh,
you
I
have,
do. I love them.
no, that's okay, I do it too,
Yeah.
but everyone does it, I guess. The thing is, it is sometimes can be considered reading by the meter. And uh, what is your opinion on that, on those two things, the Instagrams, that Booktube situation? And can be brutal, I can handle.
Honestly, I feel like 50% of my TBR came from bookfluencers. So I'm totally down for hearing their opinion because I'm like, I did not know about that book. I'm going to go buy that right now. And then also as an author, I am so grateful and appreciative when bookstagrammers take the time to talk about my book and take beautiful, oh my gosh, the pictures that people take. They're so lovely and they're so creative and they put so much heart into it. And even the reviews and everything that they write about the books as well, just the level of care, and you can tell like the intimacy of the connection with the characters. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. I absolutely love it. And if people want to go and show me all of their gorgeous bookcases, I am here for it. So I
I'm
love
not
the
organized.
bookfluencer world 100%. As far as like the reading challenges and reading by the meter, whatever gets people reading books, again, don't care. It makes my heart happy. If people are like, oh, I'm reading because it's part of a challenge, but are you reading? Yes, I'm here for it. So 100% on board with all of it.
Yes, when they are the fast ones, I don't mind. But then it's like you are supposed to get something from those books.
But the thing
And
is, if somebody's getting a sense of accomplishment, even just for reading a book, that's still something that they're getting from that book. If they're getting a moment where they're sitting outside and it's a beautiful day and they have a book and they're doing it just so they look cool, they're still getting something from that book. You know what I
there's
mean? And,
something
and
the
that
pages.
book is delivering happiness in any capacity that that person is seeking. It's like
Mhm.
art, right? Like you can look at art and you can get anything that you want from it. If somebody takes the time to buy a book, first of all, thank you. But also, and you are deriving joy from that book, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a way of saying it. Maybe sometimes I have a too academical idea of reading. It might have to do with my background as well, and I see the books as the sacred, as the holy grail, as
Hmm.
the ah, and I have to discuss, and it takes me forever to make a book review
Yeah.
because I have to think and to structure and to have something to say. And I read more than I book review because
Right.
sometimes I am reading stuff that are just palate cleansers.
Right.
And I have nothing to say. I'm going to be totally honest. I read a full I'm going to do a book review on this one, and now I am on the hockey phase. You know, the hockey romances kind of
Yeah.
thing, because I read so many dark and heavy books, and I was reading your books, and as I said, they are a little heavy for me. I
Right.
like it. It's not the reason why I'm not going to read them or whatever.
Right.
And but then I need to balance the baggage that comes
Right.
with it. So and I don't review everything that I say because of that. So maybe it is even a preconception, a prejudice that I have on myself, that I don't like to read by the meter. But this is coming from a girl that it's able to read 5 books a week.
Right. But I mean, the way that I feel about it is that if that book was important enough to pick up, it can be important enough to own and say that you did read the book. And if it's a hokey romance, you got it because you wanted to have that palate cleanser. You
Yeah.
wanted all those good feelings, and it gave you that. And that's delivering exactly what you wanted from that book. It's technically called mood reading, which a lot of us do, and it's perfectly okay. And you should never feel judgment for what you read.
What do you read? What does Madeline, the
Everything.
historical fictioner author, reads?
I read everything. I read general fiction. I love thrillers. I read historical fiction. I read, contemporary. I mean, I run the gambit.
Who are your inspiration authors, if you have any?
I don't really have any technically inspiration authors. I mean, there are some authors like, V.E. Schwab that I read that I'm like, oh man, I wish I could write like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't really have any that I take inspiration from. I mean, I have like my classics that I've always loved, like Jane Austen and the Bronte sisters that I've always really
I
looked
love
up
the
to.
girls.
Yes. And but I don't really have like any particular author that I'm like, oh, like I want to be like this particular person. I have, writing that I admire that I'm like, man, she can tell a great story and this is incredible. And I every time they've got a new book coming out, I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering it. But there's nobody that I've tried to like emulate or anything like that.
No, I'm not. I wasn't talking about in the way of emulating, but as we read a lot, we have authors that influencers more than others. They are ones that pass and go for us, holy grail for someone else, and people that stay with us and the kind of writing that they have are closer to us, which is another thing that is fantastic. It is the
Yeah,
variety in the book community and in the writing community. It
right.
is almost impossible. And that's what I say to my students as well. If you don't like this, keep searching.
Right.
This universe is so big that you will find someone that you like. Don't stop just because you bought a book that you don't like.
Right.
Find something else. Because reading it's important, literacy it's important. Please do. You know,
Exactly.
but this is a fight that I have constantly as a teacher.
I'm sure, especially having to contend with social media,
Um,
like phones and everything.
that's not an excuse because you have Kindle and the Kindle has an app for your phone. So
Right.
if you want to read and if you are interested and you have the audiobooks, it came to a point that on my lessons, I have basically said, okay, you don't have time because I was listening. I teach adults and teenagers. I'm
Hmm.
talking about high schoolers and like almost leaving school, going to college kind of teenagers. And I don't have time. They have their jobs. They are trying to pass their A levels, or I think it's GTAs in America, the final exams
Yeah.
to finish the high schools and stuff. And I'm like, people. They're audiobooks. We live in the countryside. You have to commute minimum 20 minutes to go to school. Listen to it. And
Right.
I started to try to make them audible. Should give me a commission because of that, and Libro FM when I when I started promoting it, because that's what I tell them. Because they
Yeah.
then return to me as adults, and I tell them, but you don't read.
Right.
But you listen to the movies. You listen, or you only listen to Czech podcasts. You read the here. There is a huge culture of dubbing. If you could learn understand Czech, and you
Right.
will listen to The Simpsons, and I had people swear to me that the dubbing version is much better than the English one, and I'm like, it would be. But the point is, you have to do it. You have to be immersed in the language, and that goes for everyone. And they are tested in authors, in classical authors like I was and you were, and stuff like that. And they don't know who are the sisters Bronte. They
Right.
don't know what they wrote. They don't know who is a Jane Austen, and there is a little bit of lack of illiteracy, and that's again, maybe it is prejudice that comes from my profession
Hmm.
in English and trying to get them English literature. When I mean English, not England, but also American lit, it is so hard.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It is so hard to make them explain, and I don't understand why books that were the luxury item went to a mass thing. It suddenly, it is such a big problem. And there is book talk and the booktubes and the conventions and the fantasy balls and the historical balls where people dress like characters on those fiction books, and there is a whole industry behind it. And it is us, it is mainly our generation that it is there. There
Yeah.
is
I mean, their younger kids are coming into it too. I mean, whenever I have done like my events, there's always a few of the younger kids there that are like in their 20s. I say kids because I'm in my 40s. But I mean, it's so heartening to see. And a lot of times the ones that show up, like the 20s that show up, they come with the book annotated with all kinds of little flags and the things like they've highlighted stuff that they've read, which to an author is just really one of the most wonderful things, because they have felt that the words that we have taken the time to write have such weight and such merit that they've taken the time to pause, highlight the book, and also leave a little marker in it. And so whenever I see those books completely annotated, it just makes me so happy.
yeah.
And seeing the young kids coming out really does make me so happy. But so one of the messages that I mentioned in the Book Lovers Library, which is basically about a mom who sends her daughter away during the children's evacuation in England. They're living in Nottingham.
Mhm.
Is the concept that because her daughter does not want to be a reader, and so for her, there's sort of this mindset of like every reader just hasn't found the right book yet. So maybe
Exactly.
somebody isn't a big fan of the Bronte sisters, and that's okay. Maybe they need the hokey romance. That's totally okay. If
Mhm.
that romance is what gives them that joy from reading, then that's exactly the book for them. Mhm.
Yeah, and that's also I'm not trying to appropriate the what you are saying, but that's why I keep uh, a plethora of different style romances books on my classroom on hand. Yeah,
Yeah.
eh. Sometimes it comes back 2 months later. Sometimes it comes back 1 year later. Sometimes I could not finish, and I'm fine. Everyone
Yeah.
DNFs the book once in a while. It just happened. There is no
Right.
point of that. But they read those words, and they found something in there, and I'm like, fine. So tell me the reason why you didn't like it, and makes them think about it and stuff like that. But that's the teacher in me. What can I do?
No, I get that.
It is a professional deformation, let's say. So because we are approaching to the end, I would like to ask you advice from a famous author uh, for someone that dreams to become an author, how to become self-published, and how to be successful in this industry.
Well, that's a lot.
So first one.
So, I mean, as far as I guess the biggest piece of advice that I would give for anybody who wants to be an author is to start learning about the craft of writing. A lot of people are very talented when it comes to writing, but those skills can always be shaped and honed into something so much stronger. Like, for example, I've been writing for over 20 years. I'm currently getting my master's in creative writing right now. And like, I am working with a book coach right now. And that's the thing, like, you can always improve, you can always get better. Even if you think that you've been in the industry for a long time, even if you think you know everything, there's always still so much to learn. And there's always ways that you can strengthen your craft. So I think that's very important. As far as how to get started in self-publishing, go to YouTube. I'm not even going to go there. We've got a couple minutes left, and that that is a very, very long. You just asked me to tell you the inception of the entire world, essentially, and that's a lot to cover.
Hey, that's how we solve things. When you don't know,
Yeah,
ask Google and
exactly.
YouTube. Okay.
Honestly, though, like, I feel like even with wanting to learn more about writing, going to YouTube and anything that you search on writing or on publishing or whatever, you will find a plethora of videos available with really relevant and wonderful information out there. So I highly recommend that you do that if that's something that you're interested about. And there was a third thing. What was the third thing?
How to be successful in this industry.
Hard work and luck, essentially.
Well, you can hard work, but if you don't have the luck, just give up. Yeah?
No, you just keep going. You just keep going until the luck strikes right with the hard work, but you never stop the hard work.
Awesome. I like that. 3 life advices to finish.
Yes. Learn, YouTube, work hard.
Okay. And now 3 life advice, generally. Something that you go through or you go by.
Don't let the bad things that happen to you and your life define you. Be better than them and be a stronger person because of them.
Mm-hmm. So that's awesome.
There you go.
So, I think I went to pretty much almost everything. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Obrigada. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy. I don't even know how I'm really, really happy.
Oh, thank you.
I never thought that someone that wrote about Lisbon would take time to learn this language. So if you will need to refresh your Portuguese, just let me know. And
I appreciate it.
I don't mind. I will try to go to Lisbon. We can talk about it a little bit offline, but nonetheless, thank you so much for being my first person.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you. And best of luck to you as well.
Thank you so much. It was really important. This was a really important moment for me. And I would like to ask you, can I review your books, and which books would you like me to review?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can review any of my books, whichever ones you want to do. So I appreciate it.
There are many of them. Can I stick with the historical fiction?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're perfectly fine. Whatever calls to you is what feel free to do. Yes.
Well, one of the things that I liked, I am really a book lover. So everything that contains books and library in the title, I most likely giving a try. So that's one. As I said, I had just read or listened to one of the books of The Discover of Witches, and your book came as a recommendation, and that's how I got to know you. So
that's wonderful. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so because it is the same thing, and they do those things like in Forever. So that's why, and I loved it. And I'm sorry if I'm so nervous, but again, this was my first time.
Oh gosh, no, you're perfectly fine. You did great.
Thank you. I wish you all the best. So this was my interview with Madeline Martin. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. She's awesome, isn't she? So if you are an author and you would like to be interviewed by me, feel free to send me an email. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and I'm on social media as well at Binding Over Books. Bye! See you next time!